Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are now looking at AMD. I'm going to go to this 30-minute chart again. It tells a story I like to read. I'm going to mark a few levels here with AMD only because that looks like we closed at 252.92. And we've made a pre-market high thus far of 263.49. So yeah, I'm going to mark this little zone here AMD has been trading in pre-market. And I'm going to mark this other level here just to find where our trouble places or what price has been gathering in this area, broke through that only to gather in this area. So where are the trouble places for AMD? We will need to get back above this 259.59 only to possibly have trouble. Technically, I mean, if you're looking on a smaller scale, we could possibly have trouble again, 261.51 area, and breaking that level 262.26. Should we break that, we can come back and retest this high of 263.49. Now back to the downside, if we break under, let's say this 257.61, we have that ATR trail and stop there at 256.31. And should we break that, we can use that 50 EMA as of now. As you see, price came down, something stopped us. I'm going to mark that level. Why? Because something stopped us in that area there. So we can really say here and possibly here for AMD. So where the trouble places back to the downside under 253.94, we could possibly come back to 251.90. Breaking that 251.90, I'm going to mark this area here around the 249.42. Why? Because price was here, here, and here, right? So 249.42, should we break that, we could very well come on back down to the 243.91. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out in this area here. Breaking that 243.91 for AMD today, we can use the 200 EMA for those who use the moving averages or EMAs. 243.30 could be a support area. Should we break that, 242.51. So if you're trading AMD to the upside or to the downside, let's say those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice. So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 738.36, and it too it's been trading sideways. What's interesting is this candle here. Yes. So where are the trouble places as of now? We can say support 747.57, resistance 750.21. Breaking that 751.10, 751.89, 752.57, breaking that 752.57 for Meta today, 753.41, and again 754.23. Those are possible areas of resistance. Breaking that 754.23, 754.36, and again at 756.01. Those are possible areas of resistance for Meta. Now breaking this area here, which has been support for us, is 747.57, which is kind of like where our 20 EMA is, right? So as of now, that is support for us. Should we break that, we could very well come back to the 746.30, 745.55, 744.72. Y'all see it's not far from that ATR trail and stop at the 744.95. I like to see that, right? I just say support and resistance. Breaking that, we could possibly use that 50 EMA, 744.43. So it could be a strong area of support here. The ATR trail and stop, a level that I have marked, and the 50 EMA for Meta around that 744.95 area. Now, should we break that, 743.15, again at 742.29, 741.65, 740.57, 740.07, and again here at 739.01. Breaking that 739.01 for Meta today, 739.18, and should we break that, 737.45, which puts us back in this area here. So if you're trading Meta today, those are possible areas of support support and resistance. Again, not financial advice. And I said, y'all, often mark your levels. Once it goes against your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? So we are looking at Nvda. We closed at 186.27, pre-market high thus far 191.60. So that is a resistance area for us. Seems like we have a support area here at 190.44, breaking that back to the downside 190.06, breaking the 190.06, 189.60, 189.28, 188.92, 188.29, which is not far from that 50 EMA as of now, 188.02. And should we break that, 187.37, breaking that 187.37, we could possibly find support 186.85, and breaking that 186.23 puts us kind of back in this area here. So if you're trading Nvda today, those are possible areas of support. Now back to the upside, we could very well continue making new highs, let's say that, right? So if we get back above the 191.60, we could possibly have trouble around 191.30. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere between here, but the next level I have marked is 192.20, 192.95, breaking that 192.95, 193.68. Could be a rejection area for us, and breaking that 193.68, I have 194.50. So if you're trading Nvda today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice. Now, we did have a few inside day candles, and yes, GameStop is one of those. Let's see. This is interesting, right? So let's go to a different, that decline. Wow. So GameStop went from 20, we closed at $23.30. And as you can see, y'all, we had a drop down here to $2.95 only to go back up. Yes, GameStop was an inside day candle. So we're going to just say that, GameStop is trading interesting. So that's something to be mindful of. Not financial advice. So we're going to go to Lucid. That is next on the list as an inside day candle. 1906, if we should break that, 1927 to the downside. 1846 downside target 1834, and Lucid normally moves about, normally it moves about $1.15 per day. That is the ATR, which is the average true range for the stock. So if you're trading Lucid today, it is an inside day candle. Macy's is also an inside day candle today. So above the 1899, we have an upside target of 1909 to the downside, under 1866, downside target 1852. Let's see how much Macy's normally move. About 59 cents per day. Not really a big mover. However, that 59 cents can be in either direction, right? To the upside or to the downside. So if Macy's is something that you trade, I said often, y'all, trade carefully, mark your levels. Once it goes against your reason for getting in the trade, get out. So let's go look at the SPY today just to see where we are. We closed at 677.25, and as you can see, we've been trading in this zone, and we are going to gap up today, meaning there's a gap to the downside. Not saying that that's going to be filled today. Let's say that, right? So again, a pre-market high thus far, 683.25. We are making new highs. So where are the trouble places? I'm going to say back to the downside for the SPY under, let's say 683.91, 681.91. So 683.25 is our pre-market high. We found support resistance or area of 682.96. I have that marked. Breaking that 681.91. Should we break that, y'all know, again, I just like to look at it on a smaller scale. Something stopped us here at this 681.35, which is not far from that ATR trailing stop. However, breaking that, we could very well come back. I'm going to use the 250 EMA here at 679.92, and breaking that, we can come back to around the 678.42. Should we break that 678 and breaking that 678 for the SPY today, we could very well come back to around the 676.68. Should we break that for the SPY, let's say that we could very well come back to 675.70 and find support there. Should we break that, the next level that I have is the 674.38, and there's a few layers from that 674.38 down to that 200 EMA at the 673.90. Should we break that, 673.61. So let's say 674.38 438 down to the 673.61. That is a lot of support for the SPY. Should we break that? 673, 672.68. 672.22, 671.86, 671.48, 670.66. Those are possible areas of support for the SPY. Keep in mind, y'all, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are, right? So just having an idea of where I could possibly have trouble. So we are now looking at Tesla. Y'all, I said often, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? Coming off of, we closed at 433.72. On Friday, we made that 430.17 low, only to come back to this ATR trailing stop, which is an area here that I have marked for resistance, 441.20. It's something about that 440.41 area for Tesla that was marked, it's something there, right? So we got rejected here. So that could be another area of resistance. Should we break that? Again, 441.28, breaking that 442.29, 443.13, 443.78. Let's say we break that 443.78 area, we could possibly have trouble. 444.35, again here at 445.02, 445.84. Should we break that? 447.06, 448.29, and breaking that 448.87. Those are possible areas of resistance for Tesla. What's interesting is something stopped us here, right? So should we break under? Y'all see that 200 EMA is right there at this level that we have marked at the 438.42. Should we break that in the next level, 437.71? We can use that ATR trailing stop as a support area, 437.26. Should we break that level, 436.99? Breaking that 436.19 and breaking that 436.19. 434.54, something stopped us here. Should we break that for Tesla today? 433.50, I remember that here. 433.50, should we break that? Again, something just stopped us here at 432.62. Should we break that 432.62? And y'all see it's really close to that 432.22. So that was an area that I needed to watch for Tesla. So breaking that, we could very well come back to around the 430.53. And if we break that 430.53, the next level here is around the 429.99. See, price came to this area here, very close, right? So breaking that, the 428.60 is another area that I consider a strong area of support for Tesla. Again, not financial advice. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are possible areas of support and resistance, y'all. I said often, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure that you have a plan before going into the trade. So again, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very productive day today. If you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.